like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Luke. Awesome. So now we're recording. Thank you, guys. All right. So let's go ahead and do the WSL install. We started up our PowerShell. Remember, we came here, PowerShell. We ran it as administrator using this button here, or right clicking and hitting run as administrator. And we're now into PowerShell. So what we want to do here is we want to do our WSL install. So it's just WSL dash dash install. And then we can do, do I want to do it that way? We'll do the dash D capital Ubuntu, which I don't think this is going to work for me, but it will might work for you guys. Might work for me. Um, so this is going to do our install, and it's saying we want to install the distribution of Linux called Ubuntu. So just so you guys are well aware, there are lots of distributions of Linux. They're all a little bit different. This Ubuntu is based on something called Debian. So you might have already heard us mention Debian. So there's Debian, and on top of Debian was something built called Ubuntu. And on top of Ubuntu, there's something called Linux Mint. And there's even other things that are built on top of these. And then that's a whole series of Linuxes is all kind of under that Debian clone style Unix system or Linux system. But there's a lot of other things. There's things like Red Hat, Real. You'll see that RPMs. So that's a different type of Linux that's not going to stuff you want. So if you're ever dealing with stuff in Linux and you're trying to find the right stuff for your Linux because you're on Ubuntu, make sure you're looking for Ubuntu and you're looking for something called Aptitude or APT. So if you see like in APT install, you're looking at the right place. If you see DNF install, you're in the wrong place. If you see Pacman install, you're in the wrong place. Um, I don't know. There's a bunch of different other ones, but just trying to give you a hint there. So we got this installed here. So usually once this happens, it's going to prompt me to reboot. Um, and it says it right here, changes will not be affected until the system is rebooted. So what I would do now is I'll go ahead and do that reboot. Before I do that, I could probably do WSL dash dash list dash dash verbose. Let's see what that gives me right now. Okay, it does show me that I have Ubuntu there and it's not running. So it does show I have a successful install. So if everybody's gotten here, we'll be good. And then we're going to have to reboot and come back. Has everybody done this step already? Or is there anyone that needs to reboot right now and do this step? No? Okay. Well, I got to reboot this VM so we can do it and we can keep moving.
I just ran that list and then verbose command,
Hmm.
and I see my names is Ubuntu stopped. This is state version 2, and then the Docker desktop running, and then version 2. So
Okay.
I think that means I got it right.
Think so. I think so. So if you are rebooting for the first time here, it should likely pop up asking you to create a login, a username and a login in a little terminal. Sometimes that terminal doesn't pop up. If it doesn't pop up, I'll kind of get there in a second here. They wonder why nobody likes Windows anymore. Look at all this. Just update, update, update. All right. Perfect. So I'm back in now. I'm not seeing a PowerShell open up, which I think was supposed to happen. But I kind of have a weird install on here anyway, because I did this on the system the other day. So I don't know if I got it completely uninstalled. So we can go back here now. If you haven't got prompt for your username and password, you can go back into what do we do now? That didn't happen.
It didn't prompt me either. I had to do the WSL install again.
Is that what you just did? The WSL dash dash install
Yeah,
again?
and it popped up.
Just like that?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember exactly what it was. I knew it was something like that. No,
Mm,
that just wants me to put the Ubuntu in there. You had to do this part too?
I believe so. Maybe the dash D as well.
Yeah, I can spell Ubuntu.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's already installed. I wrote it down. Hold on. I just wrote a lot of notes here. Oh, I don't remember how to do this. Sorry. Oh, that's what it is. That's right. Okay, so now I can just try to call it. I can do WSL Ubuntu. Oops, sorry, dash D Ubuntu. Hopefully that will prompt me into setting it up. Nested virtualization not supported on this machine. Awesome. So I may have broke my virtual machine. Awesome. Spent 10 hours getting this working for you just for it to break when I actually go show it to you. So exciting. All right, nope, I'm in. So there we go. It actually, so it would have prompted, it looks like it just remembered my old settings here. So I had created a username named Fox and I had given it a password. So it will prompt you for a username, type in whatever you want. Just make sure you remember it because you'll need to be using it in the future. And then the password, once again, it's going to be one of those blank password fields. You'll fill it in real quick, and hit enter and just make sure you save that and make that something easy because this is a password you're going to use every time you use that sudo keyword. Okay, so that's really important. Anytime you need to use sudo, which to be clear, it is sudo, not sudo, as Francisco says. It is sudo because it's super user do, but I digress. Um, so just remember what that is. So now we're there, we got that set up, and we are looking good. So that is WSL, and getting that turned on for Ubuntu. So what we want to do now is go ahead and verify. So if you wanted to verify from your PowerShell, well, say right now, sorry, when we ran this, this has now logged me into the Linux. So if you look now, I can do ls, maybe. Mine's not responding, but I should be able to log in and do stuff right here. Um, you let me do anything? Okay, well, let me do that. It's not letting me ls or ls is just showing up blank. There it goes. All right. So this is Linux. So you can tell I'm in Linux because so let's turn something off here, just not confuse you. Ignore that default. You'll understand that in a minute. So you see I'm at Fox. So that's my username at desktop. That's the name of this computer on the virtual machine. And this is my location within Linux that it's putting me at. So it says mount, C Windows, System 32, and then I made a folder called K. And that's what I had done there. Just trying to make sure this thing was doing something. So I can type exit. That gets me back out to PowerShell. So here's where I can do just a double check, which we know it's working already. But for anybody who wants to verify their WSL install, we can verify that with WSL dash dash list dash dash verbose. And we should see all of our lists. So you see I do have Ubuntu. Once again, we see it stopped and we are on version 2 of WSL. There used to be version 1 WSL years ago. They have upgraded to version 2. So that's all that's talking about. So what we want to do now is we want to go to our Microsoft Store and we're going to go download something called Windows Terminal. It's just another terminal emulator. There's millions of these out there. I can search for terminal, I think. Terminal. And we want Windows Terminal, which is this one right here. And once again, we can use PowerShell if you want to, but you have to go through all this. It's kind of a mess. It's going to be really obnoxious. So that's why we're telling you to download Terminal, which I think might have come pre-installed in most of your computers by now. I think when I installed this originally, I didn't need to install it. So when I come in here now, I've opened this shell. Make sure you're stopping me if you have questions here. But you notice it is opening PowerShell. If I hit a plus sign here, I still get PowerShell. I can come down here, there's drop downs. And so there you see command prompt, Azure Cloud Shell, and there's Ubuntu. So that's the one that we just created. And that's the one we're going to want to use in this class. This is one for Ubuntu. So what you can do to make your life easier is you can hit this drop down again. We can go to settings and we can change our default profile to Ubuntu and then hit save. Now, when I go into my terminal now, it will start me in Ubuntu. And then we can go down here if you want. If you guys don't know how to save this stuff, you can hit pin to taskbar and it can just live here on your taskbar. And it'll be really easy to get to. Everybody feel good up to this point? This is where stuff starts getting a little different. All right, cool. All right, so now we're actually here. We're actually, okay, I'm going to hit this deactivate. You guys don't need to type deactivate. Sorry, this is just a step that I forgot to delete out earlier. So now we're here. We're in Linux. I'm on my username Fox. You see the $sign. That's telling you this is a bash prompt, right? That's an easy way to tell. You see $sign, you know you're in a Unix shell of some kind. And tilde is my home directory. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some upgrading and some updates. So just like Windows has the Windows Store, Android has the App Store, Mac has its iTunes Store or whatever they call it, right? Ubuntu has its own store, essentially, and that's called Aptitude. And Aptitude essentially is just a whole bunch of, it points just to a whole bunch of repositories and you can go download them. So the first thing you want to do is we're going to use sudo or sudo to say, hey, look, I want to do something that takes root privileges. I'm going to say apt, that stands for Aptitude, which is the package manager used by Ubuntu, Debian, and Linux Mint. And then I want to say update. Now, anytime you install something new onto Ubuntu, you always want to do an update first. Because what update does is it goes and says, hey, look, there's all these things that we know exist out there in the world, but I have a list of them that I wrote down a year ago, right? And so update says, hey, go get that new list and refresh this list of all the packages of stuff I can download. And it needs to know the new versions and the new locations to find them. So you always want to do your update before you do anything else or try to do an install. Now, sometimes you also want to actually upgrade your system and upgrade all those things that you just, refreshed. So to do that, you can do sudo apt. And I generally recommend doing this on a regular basis, on a fairly regular basis. And we'll do sudo apt upgrade. So update, refresh state information. Upgrade is actually going to do the installing of anything that's new. So we're going to run that guy. He's going to ask, hey, this is going to take up a bunch of space. Is that okay? I'm going to just hit yes. And we'll let that run. And once again, if you're ever looking for instructions and you need to install something on your Ubuntu, make sure you're looking for something that says apt, because that's the only package manager that works for you. Don't use brew, don't use DNF, don't use yum, don't use dandified yum, don't use pacman, or one of the other million package managers that are out there. Generally speaking, Ubuntu is going to be the default answer you see when you're looking at how to install something on Linux, but you never know. We're almost done here. All right, so now we've gotten our packages updated and upgraded, so our system is now up to date. Essentially, what we just did was get our system up to date. So now what we want to do is we want to do a couple installs. So first one we're going to do is I'll just show you how to do a simple install. So sudo, once again, to say, hey, look, I'm going to install something as administrator. I need to use apt to get there. And we're going to say install Python. Now, some of you might say you might have saw apt-get install. That works as well. That's an old way of doing things. You don't have to write all that anymore. It's a little bit easier these days. So sudo apt install Python, and that's going to go ahead and install Python for me. Maybe, but it's telling me it's not, and that's fine because my next line will actually do that for us. So we want to install Python 3. So we'll do install Python 3, and then I want to install some other stuff so you can actually separate your packages just with a space, and you can install a bunch of stuff at one time. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do apt install Python 3. If you guys followed the video, we're doing stuff a little bit different right here, okay? So there's a little bit of a change here. So we're going to do Python 3. We're going to do Python 3-pip, which I believe was also in the video. And then Python 3-vinv. I believe this was marked with a minor version that said like at 14 or something after it, or at 311. I can't remember. We ignored that. We don't want that anymore. We're going to install something called Build Essentials, which is probably already installed in your system, which isn't a big deal if you don't have it. I mean, it is a big deal if you don't have it, but you almost certainly do have it. But I'm just putting it there just in case for redundancies. And then we're going to do something different. So this is one thing that you might not have done yet. So you want to run this part of it if you haven't done it yet. And that's Python -is Python 3. So a few, years ago, we used to have Python 1, we had Python 2, we had Python 3. And then for a long, long time, we lived with an in between of some stuff was written in Python 2, some stuff was written in Python 3. Python 2 has basically been deprecated at this point. So we can replace Python 2 stuff with Python 3, and this is what this package helps us do. Essentially, it helps it so we can just use Python, and it's always going to think we're talking about Python 3.
Um, it was Python dash is Python 3. Oh, you have a
Yeah,
dash.
sorry, I just realized it was out of frame there for you.
Oh, you're okay. So it's okay if I'm following this along because I have
Yep.
not done this.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's a build, sorry, and that's build a, oh no, that's right. Build essential. Python is Python 3.
Okay.
And this is all coming off of this manual Installfest somewhere. But if you ever need me to just to paste something in the chat, just let me know. I can throw any
On
of
the
it in the
second
chat.
Python, you put an I for the O.
Oh ho ho, good call. Thank you, bud. All right. All right, so I'll hit enter now, and that should go ahead and install all that for us. And I will just throw that line here into the Zoom chat for everybody, just so you have it, in case you just wanted to see it again. All right, and it said I already installed all this stuff because I, once again, said I didn't mean to uninstall it before today, but I didn't. All right, so that's all set right there. So now we should be able to run Python, most likely. And we get a Python prompt. You can tell it's a Python prompt because we're getting 3 little carrots over here on the left. That tells me Python. So I can say something like print hello, and we're going to get our Python output. Awesome. I can leave by using the exit command or exit function. And now I'm back to my terminal shell again. And you can tell that because once again, I got my $sign, right?
How do you check if you have Build Essentials installed? Because I don't think it was in the Installfest document.
You can just do sudo apt install build essential. And if it's installed, it won't do anything. If it's not installed, it will install it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Build essential is, I'm guaranteed it's there already. It's just one of those habits I get into. I've used Linux for 20 years, So that's just
Yeah,
one of my
nothing got pulled
habits of
down.
always good to make sure it's there and verify. Sometimes you'll get like maybe these little VM systems somewhere and they don't have everything installed already or have some of these things installed already, but Build Essentials will let you get like the C compiler or stuff like that. All right. Everybody doing okay right now? Okay. So is this where we talk about that? Okay. So one thing you guys may have done in the demo, who went into something called a bash RC file and you made something that's called aliases? All right. We aren't going to use those aliases. So what we can do, we can say nano or VI or whatever your preferred text editor is. I use nano usually. I'm going to say nano. I'm going to go to my home /dot/bash rc. And that stands for bash run commands. And that's going to bring me to this thingamajig. This has a lot of cool stuff written in it. Very nice. Okay. I have a bunch of aliases here already. Where
Wait, how'd you get there again?
now yours might not have all this stuff in it, by the way. To get there, sorry. I did nano tilde/.bashrc, or you could use VI for Vim, but as you said, VI is kind of confusing. Nano is a little bit easier to use.
Okay.
No, because you're doing WSL, so you can't do that. Yeah, I can't think of a better way for you. I think Nano comes by default and it's a pretty easy one to use. So for Nano, if you want to exit out of Nano, it's just Control X. And if you want to save, it's Control O. And it will do something like this, and you'll hit enter, and that will save it for you, and then you Control X to get out. But inside of here, if you guys did follow along with the video, you did something called alias, and you wrote alias. You came down here somewhere near the bottom, and you said alias Python equals Python 3, right? You did something like that. We want to delete those lines because that is terrible practice. And I did not like you guys doing that. As a nerd of Linux, I just couldn't let that happen. So what that Python 3 did for us is it's doing those aliasing for us. And it's doing it with symlinks. So it's a much safer way for your computer to work without any issue. And I'm deleting this line because that's the line that we're going to add back in here in a minute. So I just deleted that for my own safety. All right. So is everybody good with that? Anybody who put that alias in there has removed it? All right. And after you edit your bash RC file, like we just went in there and changed it, we have to resource it or it doesn't do us anything yet. And there's two ways to resource a bash file. You can close and reopen your shell. Easiest way to do it. That's what most people do. Or you can actually source it. So you can source it by writing the word source and space and then say the file, or you could just replace the word source with a period and they do the same thing. So now I have sourced my file and I should still be able to run Python and it should still take me to Python 3, which it does. You see here, I got Python 3 and I don't get Python 2. Some useful stuff here. If you use the up and down arrows, this is how I'm kind of going through this really easily, right? Up and down arrows will let you go through your history, which is often when you do a class like this, a lot of times it's really annoying because you do a lot of stuff in your terminal and you forget all those commands. If you type the word history and hit enter, there's all your command histories for quite a while. So you can copy that out and save it or something. That might be useful for you at some point. All right. So next thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and move on. Is everybody good moving on from here? Oh, yep, go ahead. What's up, Simon? You're muted.
I thought I hit the unmute. Trying to get out of the bash RC. I'm hitting Control X.
Did you hit Control O to save first?
I did.
Okay, and yeah, then Control X, then I think Enter maybe. Let me
Control X.
Control X, not Control X, just by itself.
Yep. That worked. I didn't hit the enter.
Ah,
Thank you.
perfect. Everybody else good? All right, cool. So next thing we're gonna do is install, we're gonna start working on Node. Node is what runs JavaScript. All right, so JavaScript technically runs in the web browser. Maybe 10 years ago, they invented a way for it to run outside of the web browser, and that's called Node. And that started a whole revolution called server-side JavaScript, which is really taken over right now. So we're gonna install Node. To install Node, we're gonna install the Node package manager. So very much like Ubuntu has aptitude. Well, all the Node stuff has something called npm, which is a package manager to manage all the JavaScript stuff. Okay, so it's called Node Package Manager. So what we want to, there's a lot of ways to install this. The way we're going to install it, hopefully it won't cause any issues for you. We're going to do sudo install npm, and that's going to, sudo apt install npm. And it should install npm for you. So now that we have npm installed, we're going to use npm to install Node. All right. So to do that, we're going to say sudo npm install -g means global. Usually when you use npm install, you're not going to use this -g flag, but we're using that to globally install something called n. And this n thing is going to then install Node. This is not the best version of an install. I don't like this route, but it will work. All right. So now we have this. Now we need to use n to actually install Node. And to do that, we'll do sudo n stable. And now this is going to install our Node. All right, perfect. And to verify, we can do node -- version. And we see we do have Node, and we have version 24.16, so we are looking good. I can actually run Node, so I can just type Node. Now I'm into Node. You see it just uses one angle bracket over here. And I can write JavaScript now. So I can do console.log, hello. And we will see our JavaScript output.
Does it
And
matter what version?
Not
Because
really.
mine's 22
Yeah, it's
for some
fine.
reason.
I
Okay.
mean, if it at some point it tells you need to upgrade, you'll need to upgrade, but I don't really foresee any real reason for that really right now. And now I always forget how to get out of Node. What is the exit for Node? Oh, is it just exit in Node? No, is it exit? Oops, it's exit like this.
It's
Oh my
Control
God.
C twice.
Well, that's the interrupt.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember the right way to exit Node.
Or type dot exit.
Is it dot exit?
Dot
Shoot.
exit.
Oh man, that was the next one I was gonna try too, and I gave up. All right, dot exit. There we go. All right, that'll get you out of Node. You can tell how often I use Node in the terminal here. Never. All right. Cool. So we got Node going. So everybody feels good. We got Node. We're happy. Sweet. So what we're gonna move on to now is Git. Does everybody know what Git does at this point? Yeah? No?
Doesn't that basically read your files and then saves your progress?
Yeah, basically. It's like a safe state for your file system, right? That's a good way to think about it. So, and we're going to use Git to kind of keep track of the files, find all the changes, anything you do. And then we're going to use something called GitHub to share all those files, right? And share all those changes. So we're going to go ahead and install Git. And to do Git, it's going to be sudo apt install Git. And most likely it's already installed. I would be really shocked if it wasn't. Honestly, don't know if it would even work. If I think it would have to be installed. But there you go. We can verify it's installed with git dash dash version. And we do see we have a version of Git there. And then we're going to do a couple setup steps here just to do some configuration for our Git. So we want to do Git config. I'm going to put these all into the chat here real quick for you guys. Oh crap, sorry. Don't look at that. That's going to be confusing. There we go. Now it's on 3 lines for you. So we're going to do git config dash dash global space user.name. And this is where we're going to set our name. So whatever your name is, right? This is nothing tricky here. So we're just going to set our username. We're going to set our email. I'm just going to set this to name at name.com. And we will set our editor. So this is really nice here. So global code.editor code. So what this last line is a little bit different. So the first two are configuring just your username and email address that are associated with your Git. This last one is sometimes Git's gonna force you into a code editor. Say you're trying to merge 2 branches and it needs you to say, hey, what changes are you keeping from what 2 versions? It might pop you up. So this is telling it, I want you to open VS Code for that. Typically, it's going to try to open Vim. And if you saw the demo earlier, that's a nightmare for us high-level programmers that don't like to use Vim. So we're going to tell it to use code, and that's what that does. Now we can just go ahead and verify our config by saying git config dash dash global dash L, and that should show us all the stuff we just put in there. And if we see it, we're feeling good.
Question about the email and username. Can it just be any random ones, or do I want to do
I would
my
match it with your
actual
GitHub.
GitHub? Okay.
I would match it your GitHub because
I was going to, but I was
yeah,
just like,
it will label stuff and stuff, and it can get really annoying if you don't have it labeled right. Or like me, I actually have some of my areas of my computer are labeled actually as my old job still. So sometimes when I do git pushes to things, it tells me I am my old job and I can't even log into that GitHub username anymore. So I would try to use your name. It doesn't really matter, really, but it will be annoying otherwise.
After code.editor equals code, mine has a dash dash wait. Is that a concern?
It says dash dash wait.
Yeah, I think I was following some of the tech stuff last or a couple days ago. How do I edit that one line at the
You
bottom?
can just rerun this line here again.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know what that dash dash wait. I mean, it might be fine. I have no idea. But I don't think you want that. All right, so just real quick, let's show you how to use this a little bit. This is gonna be a little annoying for me because I can't copy and paste out of. I have to copy and paste from inside of here. So let's just go to github.com and we'll show you how to find a Git repository and download something and look at it real quick. I might just go to my GitHub real quick. This is annoying already. All right, so I'm just going to come over here to my GitHub. I just went to my GitHub and I went and got this thing called Dev Server Sentinel, which is just a little program. There's not a lot to it. It's a README file and it's a little script file. There's nothing in here, but we're going to go ahead and download this, or I'm going to download this just to show you how this works. So I come here, I can come over here to GitHub and somewhere I can come here easily and I can find this thing, HTTPS, and I can see this URL here and it ends with .git. And that's my URL to my repository where this code is shared. So I can click the clipboard and I can come over here and now I can say git clone. I can paste in that URL and now I can enter and now it's going to download that for me. So if I type ls now, I should see a new folder And it's going to be called the same thing as this repository I downloaded. So dev server sentinel. And I can cd into it. One other thing, guys, nice shortcut. If I'm in the middle of typing something and I see I have a DE, I can just hit tab and it's going to fill it out for me. Now, if I have a lot of things that start that way, it will cycle through with the tab button and you'll go through all of them. Just a little cheat there. So now I'm in there. I can now see all those files. I can see my dev ports file there. And I can see that README file. It's not going to let me run dev ports because I don't have it marked executable, but it is there. So I could do nano dev ports, and we can see that there's this file here. All right, nothing interesting there. Don't worry about that. So that's all that is. That's how you clone something. So that's how we do a lot of sharing or a lot of downloading of stuff off GitHub. We're going to go spend a whole day on GitHub, I believe, or spend a lot of time in GitHub, and you're going to be practicing it a lot. So don't worry too much right now. And I'm going to go ahead and just remove that from my system here and get that out of here. Oh, whoops. All right. Perfect. And now it's gone. So that's all that is. That's how you use Git in the very, very basic way. We're going to also install something called GH. So if you came back to here and you see GitHub CLI, we used this one before when we did the Git clone. There's also GitHub CLI. GitHub CLI is another tool. It doesn't really give you anything you couldn't have otherwise, but it does make some stuff easier to use. We're not going to use it a ton in this class. We're not going to go over it a ton in the class, but I'm going to show you how to install it. And this is the way you would do a Git clone. You do GH repo clone, and then we would just put in the username and the repo. So it's a little bit different how you work it there. But to install it, we just do sudo apt. You guys should have this down by now, right? Install. And it's just going to be GH for GitHub. It's the name of the program. And this is going to go grab that guy for us. And what this will also do is will actually let me, I'm going to have to log into GitHub with this GH. So to log in, now that I have GH, I do GH auth login. And I believe I can just hit enter now. And I get some choices here of how to do this. We're going to go to github.com. I'm going to use HTTPS. Authenticate with your Git credentials. I'll say yes. Log in with a web browser. I'll say yes. Now it's going to pop open my web browser. It's going to make me do this one-time code in my web browser. I'm not going to do this whole process, guys, because I don't want to try to log in on this VM. But essentially, it's going to give me this. I'm going to use that one-time code, and then it's going to kick me back here, and I should be free. Is anybody having trouble with that step? Is everybody past that step? Yeah.
I was just completing that step and logged in successfully.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Awesome. As I said, I don't want to actually do it because I just don't want to. I don't know my password, so I don't want to try to figure that out right now. So there we go. So if once again, if I wanted to do a clone, I would just use GH repo clone and paste that right into my terminal, and that would clone this repo, doing it that way. One of the reasons I like to use GH a lot is for actually working with pull requests, which you might be useful to you when you get near the end of the course. It makes it really easy to edit and view pull requests, which is my favorite part for it, at least for what I use it for all the time. All right, everybody feeling comfortable right now still? Ready to move on? All right. So that's Git, and GH, and now we are going to get VS Code. The VS Code you're going to install for Windows, so we're no longer talking about installing this through WSL. We are actually going to install VS Code on your Windows system. And to do that, you can just search VS Code on the internet and download for Windows. And this is super, this is the most, easy install you'll do. We'll just download and we'll just go through the installer. There are going to be a couple things that I'm going to kind of stop you on here in the installer, but other than that, it's going to be pretty straightforward. And we will run this when it's done. All right. So I accept my terms blindly. I'll hit next here. Create your start menu folder. Don't create it, depending on what you want. You probably want one, right? So you can go ahead and click next. Here's where you want to add some stuff here or change some stuff anyway, I would say. One, make sure you have add to path. Absolutely need that, or else you're going to get super annoyed really quickly. Does anybody know what the path means? What adding to a path means? All right, so we were looking at that bash RC file, right? And that's called run commands. So essentially, when you're in your terminal, when you open your shell, it reads that bash RC and it says, this is where all the stuff I can do is, or I need to do before I start. And some of it's pointing you to things. So if you look in there, there's something called a path variable. You might not see it in there. There's other places where the path author works and is also set up, but generally you're going to be editing in your bash RC file. And what you do is you put in folders into the path of where executable files are. And generally that lives in something called like a /bin folder. Usually there's user bin for your high level stuff. And then there's going to be like a local bin or like your name bin for your personal stuff. And you want to add that to the path. So that means when you type in, like if I type in GitHub or that GH command we just did, if I type in GH, it needs to know what that GH means. And it knows what it means because anything that's in the path, you can run. So GH means the GH is in our path. So we've added it to our path. So whenever you're installing stuff, you just always want to be careful, make sure you add it to your path so you can run it in your terminal. Register code as an editor for supported type files. That's up to you. I would say yes, probably to that. Create desktop icon. I would probably do that if you like to use desktop icons. And then these two are fantastic to add. Open with code to your context menus. It's just going to be really, just make your life easier. That means you can right click stuff and open it in code without having to go through a little bit of extra steps. So after that, you can just install and you'll be good to go. And then what we will have to do once we get this installed is connect this to WSL. Because we're going to want to be able to use our WSL Ubuntu inside of our Windows VS Code.
Oh, Kevin, I have a question.
Yep.
So if you already downloaded what's it called? Visual Code,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get the how do you
Context.
essentially checkmark the path from the setup if you already downloaded it?
I mean, it was probably checked when you installed it, unless you unchecked it.
Hmm.
If you go to your
Okay.
terminal and just type code dot and hit enter, code space dot enter, if it opens VS Code, you're good.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
What about the other two boxes that you checked?
Those are just, those are just to make your life a little bit easier. It's not a big deal. You'd have to look it up. As I said, I haven't used Windows in 10, 15 years on
Yeah.
a, kind of a regular basis. But essentially what that's doing is it's adding like a right click here and where I can say like open in VS Code.
Mm.
And that's really all that's doing. It just makes your life a little bit easier. But honestly, if you're working in WSL, it might not even be all that useful because you'll probably be navigating in with your Ubuntu anyway. And you'll use the terminal commands, which I'll show you here in a second how to do that. Or actually, maybe I'll show you right now. So, actually, can I do that from here? I don't think I can. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, no, I can't do that. I did not think this was going to be the long part of this, guys. I'm sorry. I would have just left it installed. All right. All right, perfect. Now it's going to go ahead and automatically launch, and we will get into here. All right. So now we are in VS Code. You can sign up with whatever you want to sign up with here. Wow, I haven't done this in a long time. Oh, cool. They got some stuff you can pick. Yep. Okay, we can just get rid of all this stuff. Let's just get in here. All right. So now we're into our VS Code. If you do Control tilde, that should open a terminal. And you could also come up here to View Terminal, and that will also get to the terminal. And you see here in my terminal, I've opened immediately to PowerShell. And we know we don't want to do that. I want to use that new thing that we just added in here, that WSL Ubuntu. All right.
Oh yeah,
So-
so we're supposed to see that like Ubuntu home username when you open it, right?
Right. And right now we're looking at
Yes.
PowerShell. So that's not what we want, right? We want to configure our terminal settings here, I believe. This is where we go.
Yeah,
That's not quite what I was
got
looking
this.
for. I mean, we want to pull this guy, right? Select default profile. There we go. We want to pick our default profile, and we want to make that Ubuntu WSL. So that was here. Add these little dots. Oops, or sorry, the little drop down, and then select default profile. Plus sign, select default profile. And you want Ubuntu WSL. So now, when I make a new terminal now, it should open as WSL, and it does. And if I close this, I get a new one here. I delete it again. I get a new one here. It should keep coming back as, once again, we are now getting the WSL. All right. And there should, where is the, okay. So if you come over here to this little button, it might be blue for you already. What you want to do is click WSL and install the WSL extension. So that's what's going to let all this link up and everything kind of play together.
There it is. That's where I get the. But I am surprised how much this is working for me.
Where's the button you were talking about?
It was down here in the bottom left corner. It just kind of looked like two brackets or something like that. I think mine was black. I think the first time I tried this, it was blue though, and it told me that it was trying to do this. So it just depends kind of how's yours is feeling right now.
I see.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I found it.
Awesome.
Oh,
So is what we're doing right now is just installing all these
Yeah, just installing
installing Ubuntu
all the
all these
crap that you're going to
things.
be using. Yeah.
Okay.
So right now we've already installed VS Code, which is going to be our code editor, and we are hooking it up to the Ubuntu WSL stuff that we installed earlier.
Mm.
So they will play together nicely, so we can use our WSL within our VS Code and vice versa.
it's basically creating a work environment, and it's all in one area.
Yeah.
Bless you, Trey.
Can you all see my screen or is it black?
It just went black.
Yeah, okay, that's me too. Okay. All right, I'm gonna just try to. Oh, there we go. Is that you see now? Are we good? Can everybody see it again?
Yeah, we can
All
see
right,
it.
awesome. Awesome. Sorry, I won't be using this virtual machine ever again after today, so we won't have to deal with this again. I forgot where I was at now. Oh, okay. So what we want to do now, we got this installed. We got WSL hooked up. We're going to go back over here. I'm going to go ahead and shut my Ubuntu terminal, and I'm going to open it back up now. And now at this point, I should, if that WSL connection worked properly, I should be able to open VS Code from my terminal here. So I'm going to close VS Code as well, and we're going to give this a shot. So I'm going to say code space dot. So that means open code to the current directory. And maybe I'll actually open a file here. I'll do code tilde dash slash dash bash rc, and we're going to open that bash rc again, but we're going to open it up in VS Code. See if that works. All right. And it's going to open that file eventually, guys, I promise. It's trying. There it goes. All right. So that's how you can get from the terminal into your thing. So if you do code space dot, that says the current location. Generally, you don't want to do what I just did here. So the way I did this is I specified a specific file. Generally, that's going to be a real headache if you ever do that and try to get into VS Code. You generally want to open a folder. So generally, I would just cd into a folder and do a code dot inside of that folder, because you want to work with a workspace. You don't really want to work with individual files when you're writing code. All right, so we got this, and we have our bash RC. We've already kind of talked a little bit about the bash RC. So before I close the bash RC, we're going to talk about virtual environments. And we're going to talk about the Python virtual environment. So when you write software, we stand on the shoulders of giants, okay? It's meaning I write software, but I write software using software somebody else wrote. Almost every single thing I ever write is based off a bunch of other software somebody else wrote somewhere else, right? And I'm just going to be extending that software or adding on top of it. So in order to get the other software, we have to install that software. And maybe I'm writing 5 different programs, and maybe one of my programs uses version 4 of that software, another program uses versions 2, and another version of my program uses version 5, right? I want to keep all those different versions isolated and protected to each one of my projects. And for that reason, we use things called virtual environments. And you will install things to a virtual environment, and that virtual environment will typically just belong to one project. Right now, we are going to make a system-wide, fairly system-wide. We're going to make it here at your user level virtual environment, just to help you guys and make our lives a little bit easier as we go through the beginning of this class. At some point, we will have you delete this virtual environment, and you'll start using individual virtual environments. But just to save us a lot of effort and hassle and you doing stuff and screwing stuff up later on, that affects your entire system globally, we're going to do this little temporary bad practice of making a global virtual environment. So to do that, we're going to come here from my root, or from my user's root, from the tilde. I will do Python 3-m. Actually, I can just do Python. So Python-m vinv default. And what we're saying here is I'm going to use Python to run something called vinv and create a virtual environment named default. I'm naming it default. I could call that whatever I want for the last argument there. But I'm calling it default just to keep this clear to everybody what we're doing. So I'll run that. And once I run that, I should see now this folder that you see there called default. If I look inside of that folder, you can see we have something called bin. If I look inside of default/bin, you should see, say I have something called scripts, or sorry, activate, sorry. And there's activate. So these are, the activate is the script to turn it on. So if I wanted to turn on my virtual environment and have it activated, I would do the complete path, which would be from my location here. So I would do dot to say I want to source this. Then I would say default /bin/activate. And that will now, as you see on the left, I keep pointing like you can see my finger. On the left here, you see I have default. That means I am now in that default virtual environment I made. I can do deactivate, and that's going to get me out of that virtual environment. And another way I could write this to get back into it, instead of the period, once again, you could write the word source. They do the exact same thing. They mean the exact same thing. And once again, deactivate would get me out. So that is your virtual environment. If you actually were using it, let's activate it again. I could say pip install, I don't know, pillow. And that's going to install this into that default virtual environment. Don't bother installing pillow to your virtual environment. That was just me to show you. And I could do pip uninstall pillow as well, and it can uninstall, but I'd have to actually spell it correctly. There we go. So that's how we use pip. It's just the package manager, just like npm was a package manager, just like apt is a package manager. Same kind of idea. Pip stands for pip installs packages. Yes, it's defined by its own name. All right, so that's a virtual environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to set you up now. We have now created that virtual environment. Is what we're going to do is every time we log in to our terminal from now on until we turn this off, we're going to want it to go ahead and activate that default profile. So to do that again, we're going to head back over to our VS Code where we open this bash RC file. And we're going to just head down here to the bottom of it. Just down here at the bottom, wherever we want to go here. And we're going to do a little line here, and we're going to say $home, which means our root. So if I was in here, this is a variable. I'm sorry. You can see that it is a directory. I could even echo home. You see it's home/Fox. So it's my username in my little user folder. So it's saying I want to go from home to default to bin to activate. So this is what I want to run. Essentially, I want to run this every time I open my shell. And once again, I actually want to put that period first because I'm trying to source this. All right. So that $home/bin/activate, which is what we were just writing in the terminal before. Then we are going to save this. So I'll do file save. Anybody who hasn't done this yet, go ahead and come here and hit the autosave button on your VS Code. It's going to save your life without autosave on. It's the biggest headache and the most annoying thing on the planet. So make sure you go ahead and turn that on. And your life is going to be a lot happier with that check mark on. So now that I'm done with that, I can go ahead and I can come here and I can either open and close my terminal to resource my bash script, my bash shell, or I can do the manual by sourcing it here. And when I source it, we should see that how did I do that wrong? What in the world is going on? Yeah, source. Not bash RC. What did I do? Where am I? Oh, well, I don't know where they put my bash RC now.
I think I figured out what the issue was. I think it's the period right before activate in the file path inside of the bash RC file. Because that fixed it on my
that's
end.
exactly what it's telling me. I wasn't even reading it. Thank you.
Mm.
That's why you read your errors, people. That's actually a really good lesson for everybody to learn. Don't just say it errored, it broke, I don't know what's going on. Read the stupid error and think about it for 2 seconds. So we will go ahead and we will just edit that up real quick. I'll come down here to the bottom and I will. Sorry. I think I must have just said that. Wrong time. Save and exit. Now we can source it and hopefully it won't hate me. There we go. Perfect. Now we got our default done. Thank you, Luke.
Quick question. In the text instructions, it tells you to create a dot default. Does it matter? Because
Default or default, it doesn't matter.
okay.
No. I prefer not to use the dots personally. Some people like to put them. It's up to you.
I have both now because I was following your instructions too, so I'll just leave it.
Oh, well, so I would probably delete one of them just so you're not confused.
Okay. How do you delete one of them? Sorry.
So what you'll do is you'll go back and find where that went to. So mine is in CD Fox, LS. So mine is default. You see I have default right there. So I would just do rm-rf default, and that will delete that virtual environment. So you
Gotcha.
can delete
Cool.
that for dot default, or you could do it for whichever one you don't want. And then
Thank
just
you.
remove the line in your bash RC if you have 2 lines in your bash RC. Make sure you only have one, pointing to the one you kept.
Will do. Thank you.
So everybody okay there? Does everybody kind of have a vague understanding what a virtual environment is? Cool. All right, so our next step is going to be installing PostgreSQL, otherwise known as pSQL, Elephant SQL. You might hear Elephant SQL is actually a name brand of a cloud SQL, but they are the elephant. So to do that, we'll do sudo apt install, and we're going to do PostgreSQL and PostgreSQL-contrib. Both of these bad boys. We'll hit enter and we will have to go ahead and do our password again. Now we're looking good. All right. So Postgres runs as a service on the background of your computer all the time. So essentially you want this thing running, and then you're going to be able to connect to it. So to turn that service on, we run sudo service PostgreSQL start. And you shouldn't have to do this again. This is something we're going to do one time. Oops, and that's supposed to be sudo and not su. All right, so PostgreSQL. There we go. And one thing you guys maybe are catching on to, but when you work in the terminal, no feedback means things are going well. Feedback means things broke. It's maybe a little backwards of what you would expect. But generally, seeing nothing means it worked, and seeing something means it broke. All right, so we got our Postgres service started. Then the next thing we want to do is I'm going to log in as Postgres in an interactive shell. So I'll say sudo -i for interactive -u to define the user I want to log in as, and I'm going to log in as Postgres. This is the default user that Postgres comes with. And so now here I am. I am now in Postgres. I'm now logged in as Postgres user. And I can now run Postgres. So I can run pSQL. And this is now going to open me up into the Postgres terminal. So yes, also my database can be accessed here in the terminal. We probably will never have to access it in the terminal in this class. But I could do something like, I don't know. I think I need to select a DB first. Do I? I don't know. I don't want to try it again. We're not trying to type SQL code, but we can do stuff in here. And we can do SQL. It's /Q to get out of that one. And now I'm back here again. So that's pSQL. And I guess that's all I had you doing. pSQL to open, Q to quit. And then now we are still logged in as Postgres. We want to get back to our Box user. So first thing we do is logged in as Postgres, and we use the Postgres user to log into pSQL. So now we need to get back to our regular user. To do that, we can just type exit. And that will get us out. That logs us out. You see we get logged out of the pSQL user or the Postgres user.
You don't mind. The command, could you go back to the command to install Postgres?
Yep, it was sudo apt install Postgres QL and Postgres QL dash contrib. I can also throw those in the Zoom chat real quick.
Okay, I did that. Let me see.
Did you do the sudo service Postgres start?
I said that try sudo apt install deb name. That's what I said afterwards. Sudo service post.
And that's supposed to be sudo. Remember, I screwed that up here. It's right here. And then I screwed it up again. I screwed it up a bunch of times. There it is.
Okay. And that's asking for a password. I could put a password in, right?
So yeah, the password should be your root password.
Okay. Oh, it says failed to start. Service not found.
This is saying failed to start service not found. Did you spell Postgres QL correctly?
Service Postgres GR start. Yeah, it's saying failed to start.
You want to share real quick?
Sure.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the button to. Oh, there it is. Share real quick for me. Okay, so you did not install correctly. So if you go up to your install line, it never installed. So it's supposed to be sudo, sudo, apt.
Oh, I said sud.
Yeah, so you see where it has all that output afterwards? It said something. You got to pay attention to that. You're pulling the same mistake I just did a minute ago, where I'm not reading all my output.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and seal the share back there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you'll stop, actually, it looks like it did not. What's up, Francisco?
Hey Kevin, I just wanted to ask how much longer you guys have until you guys are done.
We are just about to do the VS Code extensions and Docker Desktop if you wanted us to do Docker Desktop.
Okay, cool, but everything else is already done?
Yep.
Okay, does 4:30 sound like a reasonable deadline?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. See you then.
Cool. All right. So you're doing good on the Postgres install there, whoever was talking to me a second ago?
Yes. Everything looks good now.
Okay, excellent. Awesome. So that's all of our hard installs. Now we're just going to do a couple of simple ones. And if you don't get them today, it's not the end of the world here. So what we're working on is just some VS Code extensions. So if you're inside VS Code, there's this little spot here with like the little boxes and one's kind of floating off into space over here. These are your extensions. There's a crap ton of these that eventually you'll probably download a million, to be quite honest. But a couple ones you're going to want to start with is the Python one if it didn't go ahead and give it to you off the bat already. So Python, you'll install this guy. What other ones do we want you to do? Live share is a good one to install. This is one that is going to make it a lot easier for us to help you on your code if you need help. So you can do live share. I think there's a list somewhere in here of ones you can install. I'm not going to go through all of them. For database, you probably want to grab a database one. We may change the one that you use by the time we get to this part because I think they changed it, but I think I would use this one for now. Database client for Maria and SQLite. I think the one that we used to use in this class, they has discontinued it or something. Is what I've been hearing. That one's good. So the one you really want to install though, and you guys are all going to want right now, is called Live Share. This is most definitely going to be the one you probably use more than anything in this entire class. Live Share is awesome. So what Live Share will let us do is I'm going to come here. I'm going to open a folder. I'm going to open this folder called website that I guess I've already made. And I'm going to make a new file inside of here. Maybe if it ever gets its life together. All right, so I do have a file already made called index.html. Sorry, this is the virtualization side of virtualization side of virtualization slowness we are now seeing. Good gracious. All right, I'm not even going to show you in here. All right, I'll just pretend like we're doing that in Windows, and I'll show you on my actual computer here. So if I'm inside of my computer and I'm doing something with that live server, all right, I'm going to be inside of this folder called test. I'm going to make index.html, and I'm going to use a handy dandy thing here. If you're ever using VS Code, you can use an exclamation point and use what's called an emmet abbreviation. There's a lot of these, but one exclamation point gets you some basic HTML code and kind of get you a little web page started. And I will give it a little title, my website, inside of this title field. If this makes no sense to you, that's fine. And down here, I'll write, this is my website. And now I have a little bit of HTML code written. So this is cool. Note I am inside of a folder right now, and inside my folder, I have my file. And what I can now do is I can hit this go live button right here. And this is what Live Server gave me. And now when I click that button, my web browser opened. And you now see my website, and this is my website. And as I edit my website here, and since I have autosave already turned on my computer here, we will see like things updating. Hey, there. Once I click away, there you go. Hey, there. I can do like an H1 tag. This is big. I can do like H6 tag, and I can say like, this is small. Right? And we have some stuff going on here. So that's what Live Server does. That one's incredibly useful. You'll be using this a ton. Everybody feel good with Live Server? Everybody got Live Server installed? All right, beautiful. Other than that, I think that's all the ones I'm going to show you, but feel free to go through the lists that you see in the documentation and get them all in there. Or, for the most part, you probably can wait until we use them in class and then install them in. They don't take but a second to install. All right. Now, the last step here was Docker desktop on Windows. I wasn't really planning to show this, but it sounded like you guys wanted to see it, so I will try. So Docker desktop. You'll just go here and you'll download for Windows. It should be pretty straightforward. It's just going to be a install here. And you'll just click on through for the most part. But you will want to use the WSL. So you want to get that connected. Does anybody already have Docker Desktop installed and they need to get it hooked up? Jason, you do? Yeah, you want to share your screen and we'll do this on your computer?
I set everything up earlier while we were on
Oh,
the
you're
break.
already good. You already got it, the
Yeah, I
integration.
went
Does
through
anybody
it.
still need to get the WSL integration set up on the Docker Desktop?
Already got that. I went through everything.
Everybody else already has done that too?
No, I haven't. I need to do it.
All right, perfect. Well, I guess I'll just go through it here with you. I'll try to go through it on this VM with you guys anyway. Sorry, it's testing my patience. I was just trying to use one of your guys' computers. Come on, buddy. Ah, I can't actually do it. So never mind. I can't install it on here because I don't have the system resources on this VM to install Docker, it doesn't sound like. Give it one more shot. Actually, I guess I'll have one of you guys share. Anybody doing the install right now that wants to share? I mean, you guys are doing the install, right? Either you guys are not doing the install and then no one can share it, which would make sense, or you should all be doing it, which I would assume you should be all doing it. So somebody should be able to share, right?
It's installing right now, so
It just made me
I'm
sign
Okay,
still
out.
waiting.
excellent. Why don't you go ahead and share your screen and we can watch yours install. And
Okay.
we can, so everybody can see. I gotta stop my share, so sorry.
Does it make everyone sign out when you're installing it?
Does it make what?
It just made me close out or it just signed me out of everything to install it. The
I don't know.
Docker Desktop.
It might have. I could see that. I could see it doing something like that.
Can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep. I see you downloading it anyway. All right. Oh, geez, now mine finally decided to do something. So if you get through this first thing, it will probably tell you to give you a prompt that says use WSL2 instead of Hyper-V. So you'll want to click on that one and hit OK. If it doesn't tell you that, we'll have to do something different. All right, perfect. So we can do the all users installation. That is fine. It looks like you tried to run it twice. That's what that pop-up in the background is. All right.
Yeah, this is where it signed me out.
It signs you out of everything?
Yeah, after this gets done
Look, when you
loading.
say signed you out of everything, what do you mean? Like
Like it made me log out of my computer. I had to log back into it and it shut everything off. Like
oh,
close
and like
everything out.
you had to like log out and log back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising. Yeah, that might happen. That might happen. I don't know. last time I've installed Docker on Windows. I really don't know what to expect, to be honest with you guys.
Still doing.
Looks like I have to restart Windows to complete the installation of this.
Oh, this talk to
Yeah.
Nathan.
Yep. Go ahead and do that. If yours prompted you though to do use WSL2 instead of Hyper-V, make sure you have done that and hit OK before you continue on. Yours did not, so you're good.
So I'll
Go ahead
just
and
close and restart, and I'll just join back into Zoom in a little bit.
Yep,
Okay.
100%. Yep.
All right, so
Join
just
back.
making sure. Just stop share first. And
So if we already have it downloaded, how do we check that it is connected?
Yeah, so go ahead into your do you want to share? I guess not. No, didn't want to share. So yeah, to check if it's connected, you can go into your Ubuntu terminal that you just created, and you can
Sorry, I
cd
was
type.
trying to share, but it wasn't,
Oh,
for some reason, it wasn't letting me. Let me see. It says share, then it says entire screen. Okay,
yeah.
there it goes.
Oh, perfect.
So here's the
All
Docker,
right,
right?
so yeah, that's Docker. So maybe you go up to the settings, the little cogwheel. Go to
Down
general.
here, use the WSL.
Okay, perfect. So that means you are looking good.
Okay. I don't need to do this. Internal names.
I do not believe so. I do not believe so. If you go over to your Ubuntu, real quick, open your Ubuntu terminal that we had made earlier today.
Talking about our on
The
here or
the little terminal shell that we were
oh, this one?
in. Yeah, this right here. And now close it and reopen it real quick, just in case. Because we just did some installs and we want to make sure that bash script is sourced. All right, so now go ahead and type in docker space dash dash version. This is what we're going to do to test. It says it cannot be found, so didn't quite work the way we wanted it to.
She have to turn it on from resources on the Docker app.
All right.
Oh, resources in here? Resources.
Yeah, all the way to the
WSL
right.
integration. Far right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Enable
Okay.
that one as well.
I thought I did that.
Yep.
Unless I did that in the other one. Oh, you know what? Because I set up different laptops. Sorry. Okay. Okay, now it should hopefully.
Yeah. Now hopefully it'll work.
There you go.
There you go. Yep.
So we should be good. That's
And then you're
just
good.
those
Yep.
two areas. Just that one area and then the resource.
Yep. That's it. Those
General
two spots.
resource.
Yep. I'll put those here in the chat here.
I have a random question. Whenever y'all get done.
I'm listening.
Whenever I log back into Ubuntu for this, it said failed to mount like E. And then whenever I inputted this, it like popped up all this code.
We might want to talk about that offline because I'm not sure what's going on.
Would this be a problem though, like the failed to mount part?
It certainly could. I mean, is it letting you do anything at the bottom there after it failed to mount? Because I'm not sure. It's trying to mount an E drive, which is obviously one of your other drives, I assume you have on your computer, like a USB drive or something, maybe
Yeah.
optical drive. Um, it might not be an issue at all, but we would have to look at it.
Okay.
I don't know. All right, Kaylee, are you all set now? Do you got yours back up?
I think so.
All right. Since we kind of went through it while you were gone, but I'll throw it back in the chat here. If you want to open your screen up again, I'll walk you through the couple settings you need to change to make it all hooked up. All right. So now we're going to go back into our Docker desktop that you just installed. Kind of a hoss, so it might be a second. You'll have to sign up and do all that, or you can skip for now and do it later. All right, go to the cogwheel at the top. Go to general, go to scan down in general. Oh, where'd you go? All right, should say use WSL or go up. Went too fast. Okay, that's good. All right. So now go back to down to resources. And then I don't see it. Doesn't let me scroll. Oh, there it is. WSL integration on the right. And then enable. And then enable Ubuntu. Then apply restart. And now you can open your Ubuntu and you should be able to type in docker space -- version and it should not error out. And if that's the case, you are good to go. All right, guys, we made it. With 30 seconds left before Francisco is going to yell at me for taking too long.
How'd you say to access it on Ubuntu again?
Yep, you can just type in docker space -- version, and that should kind of give you a version check. Perfect. Now you have access to it.
Cool.
It runs.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, while we're waiting for Francisco, I thought I'd show you guys something maybe a little fun we can do with the terminal. Anybody who's using Ubuntu.
Are you making me the bad person here? Am I supposed to be the one that's against all fun now? Is that what's going on here?
That's exactly what it is. So one thing you can do if you guys are so inclined, you could do sudo apt install. And you could do something like fortune. Fortune. You could do lolcat, and you could do, what's the other one I was thinking about? Oh my goodness, it is calce. And calce, I can't do this because that's not going to actually work for me because I don't use apt, but you can use these. And these are some three little teeny little CLI programs, and I just like to show this for fun sometimes. So fortune will give me a one-line fortune. So you see, anytime I write that, I just get a little fortune, different random fortune. And then I got something called cow say, which I could do cow say hello, and I get a cow, and he'll say whatever I tell him to say, right? And then I have something called lolcat, which is a little bit harder to explain, but I can do lolcat. Let me just lolcat my bash RC file. And you see it made all my RC file look crazy colorful. So whenever we play in the tournament first time, I always think it's fun to show you guys how to do a pipeline. Because what you can do with your text, I can have my fortune, and I get that text out, but maybe I want that text output that got put to my standard out, which is what I'm reading on my terminal is my standard out. I can take that standard out and I can do what's called redirect it by using a pipe. And I want to redirect it into cow say because I want my cow to tell me my fortune. And now we have a cow telling us a fortune using a pipe. And if I want to make my cow colorful and rainbow, we can say fortune. We're going to pipe that standard out into calce, and then we're going to take calce standard out and we're going to pipe it into lolcat. And now we got a rainbow talking cow on our screen, giving us fortunes. Just a little bit of fun, a little bit of playing with pipelines. They actually become very, very useful. A time I often will use something like this is maybe I do something like LSOF. Oh, wait, I'll do like LSOF-I. And I'm going to get a whole bunch of crap like this sometimes. And a lot of times I want that and I want to be able to filter it out. So I could do something, I could filter it into like a grep statement and I could look for something like port 8000, which I don't have anything running on port 8000 right now, but that's something I have to do often. So I'm piping output from a line into another function, and that's really a common thing to do. So that's just something fun to show you why we waited for Francisco.
Waited for me. I popped in here exactly at 2:30. What are you talking about? Waited for me.
You were
All
you were you
right.
were 2 seconds late.
There you go. All right. Well, welcome back, everyone. We're going to go ahead and dive into our next lecture. It looks like we have a little bit of the class body still missing, so let me give it a couple of seconds here for them to rejoin. Hopefully, everybody has their machine up and running now. So, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. All right. And let me go ahead and share my screen.
We need to break the recording.
Okay. All right. Oh, it's still running. Why is the
That's what
recording
I